Great. So today we are going to talk about anger. Hmm? And what is it? Why anger exists in the first place? How do we deal with that anger? And going deeper into resolving it from the root level. So, what is anger basically? Anger is simply an emotional response to our state of powerlessness, our state of losing control, the feeling of losing control, the feeling of being threatened by something, feeling very insecure, unstable in life, something that has shaken in your life, any kind of injustice, any kind of violation that has happened to you, or anything that brings you to the space of fear and the space of powerlessness, triggers an emotional response at times which is of anger, so that you can cope up with that state of powerlessness. So that's what anger is basically. It's a coping mechanism to deal with any kind of threatening situation, any kind of situation which makes you feel powerless, which makes you feel that there's some kind of injustice, something that has happened. Why is anger given to us as a tool, as an emotion? So the reason anger is given to us is because it's an emotion which has the power to bring us out of powerlessness. So for us to come back in control, for us to do something about the situation, anger has the power to do it very quickly, right? So that is one reason. Another reason is so that we can be informed where is the discord happening in our lives, what are the things that we want in life, and when they are not getting met, we get anger as a response so that we can be directed towards it, that this is what I want, or this is what I don't want. So it is a way for our being to communicate to us, to let us know what is it that we need to resolve or take actions towards. It is a way for us to protect ourselves, to set a boundary, to make sure that we don't get violated. So these are some of the uses why anger is given to us as an emotion. So usually what happens and where it goes wrong with us, as a human species, that we're told constantly by people that being angry is bad, as if anger itself is bad, and we completely reject the idea that it is just an emotion. It's just an emotional response. We forget that entirely, and all we focus upon is that it is bad and we shouldn't be angry. However, when we get angry, actually what is happening is that we are trying to just protect ourselves from any kind of possible harm, any kind of possible hurt, pain, damage, injury that could come to us in physical ways, emotional ways, mental ways, any of these things, any injury that we perceive could happen on, or something that has already happened, right? So it's just an emotion which is coming out to bring our attention to do something, to look at something in our life which has gone in the opposite direction to where we stand, right? However, when we are told that anger is bad, constantly we are told that it is bad and you should never be angry. If you are angry, then you are a bad boy, you are a bad girl. What happens at the root level, at the core level, is that what the child hears is that if I get angry, I will not be accepted. And for me to be accepted, I'll have to reject what I want. And that is the only way for me to get accepted by people. So we get stuck in scenarios usually in life where there are two things happening. On one side, it's the acceptance of ourselves, what we want, what we are, how the situation would look based on our expectations. On the other side, there is expectations of people, and there is something to lose on both the sides. Either we accept ourselves and make other people go away, but because love and connection, belonging is a classic, basic, fundamental human need, all of us want to be accepted, seen, heard, and loved. We all want, we are social animals, we want to be around people. So to win their acceptance, to win their approval and validation, what we have to do is actually we have to disregard how what we want. That's where the discord actually happens. Now, is anger really bad? I have already shared with you guys that it is just an emotion which is trying to convey something, right? It can, of course, become very harmful when not treated. It could convert into extreme forms of anger. It could become rage, where you actually it's not just there inside you, but now you have also started taking actions outside, right? And you've started acting out of that space. So undoubtedly it could become very hazardous, but we need to understand that the only reason why the anger has become so hazardous is because it has not been seen before. It has been getting accumulated over long periods of time for it to become rage, for it to for it to develop into some sort of a disorder, where we are not able to manage our anger. Now, we have spoken about anxiety, guilt, we have spoken about shame, we have spoken about these dense emotions that usually we have beneath anger. Maybe all of these things are coming from the root. However, if I talk just from the vibrational standpoint, when we reach the state of anger, it's still better than being at the state of powerlessness. Because when you were operating from guilt or shame or any kind of powerless emotion where you are extremely covered by fear, not ready to take any action, you're feeling victimized, you're feeling that why me, why life happens to me this way, why this, why that. By going into anger, you're still at a better state, because now you're trying to cope up with that. You're still at some level taking responsibility to do something about it. When you are stuck at the level of guilt and shame, you're like totally victimized. You're not even taking responsibility. You don't have the capacity to take responsibility at that point of time. However, when you reach anger, at least you have gotten some steps up, because anger makes you feel in control. It gives you a push, it drives you, it gives you power, right? That I can do it, I can do something about my situation. However, then the question comes that if anger is better than all of those denser emotions, then should I just be angry all the time? Because a lot of people we see in our lives who use anger as a way to motivate themselves to achieve something in life. But what I'm saying is, on a vibrational scale, anger is better than being in a powerless state. However, we need to really understand that it is a coping mechanism, it is a defense mechanism. The only reason you're trying so hard to feel secure, to feel stable, to feel powerful, so hard, because you feel powerless from inside. So even though at the surface level anger may appear as if you're trying to be in control and power, you're trying to motivate, keep yourself motivated and all that. However, beneath it, the deeper layers of it are still made up of all of those insecurities, irritability, frustration, issues, your inability to deal with things, feeling a lot of shame, guilt, feeling a lot of obligation, feeling very low, feeling very down, feeling very disconnected, very powerless, right? So it's a little ahead, but it's still not at a point where we are able to actually truly take ownership and responsibility of our actions and the consequences, and not cry about all of those things. Because the reason why we be in anger is just to cope up with insecurities. It does not mean that we have reached a secure state. When we are in secure state, we are able to deal with our emotions in a much better way. Now, To understand that, let me explain it, you know, in the form of how anger is usually expressed. Hmm? So when people, get stuck with these situations where they don't get what they want, or they get something that they don't want, hmm? the anger that comes up is usually either internalized or completely externalized. Hmm? So when we are talking about people who feel positively motivated all the time because of the anger, it doesn't lessen the anger, it's just an externalized form of anger. Have you seen somebody who is so cranky and angry all the time? If just releasing the anger out or using it as a fuel to do something about things was gonna reduce it, lessen it, dissolve it, there wouldn't have been any problem at all. But the thing is that externalized anger, the roots of it have yet not been resolved, and you feel better. Maybe you use it for exercising, right? And you use it as a fuel every single day. However, you need to understand that your exercise, the foundation of even the good things, the good habits that you're making in your life, are not coming out of empathy, are not coming out of love, are not coming out of compassion for yourself. It's coming out of what? Hatred for yourself, or shame for yourself, or fear about something. It's a response to fear, right? So what you'll have to do is you will have to continue to do that activity for very long, constantly, continuously, because the moment you pause, the fear comes in, and again you lose the grip, and the externalized fear does not take the fear away. In the long run, it only increases it, because you realize over a period of time that even me expressing the anger is not resolving anything. It's in fact increasing, making the problems even worse in the long run, because even after trying so hard, it's not getting resolved. The same way, the other way people express their anger is internalized form of anger, which is more passive form of anger, which is of course problematic, because it's something which you start absorbing, it's something that you start internalizing. So imagine, if you it's such a strong response in your emotional body, in your mental body, in your physical body, and you don't express it, the choice that you make is completely absorb that in. A lot of people who have internalized anger, because this is what is taught to us as a way to regulate ourselves as a child, that don't express your anger, don't speak it out. If you speak it out, if you show your anger, you're a bad boy, you're a bad girl, you're this child, you're that kind of child, all of those things. So internalized anger is something which is more appreciated in the society. However, like a sponge, you're absorbing it over and over and over again. So people whom you see who blast at times with a lot of rage, people who take do impulsive things full of rage, are the people usually who have internalized too much of anger, and their vessel is full. Now they don't have a conscious attention over it, and whenever the body, mind and emotions are so full, they are going to figure out a way to release it without any of your conscious attention into it. So that's how internalized anger also comes out in your life. Now, if none of these ways, the way we are taught to suppress our anger, or the aggressive behavior of mindlessly expressing our anger and screaming and shouting and using bad words and so on and so forth, all of these things, none of these things help us in resolving the anger, in coming out of the anger, then we need to understand that what is it that we actually need to do about this thing. So the first thing that we need to understand about anger is that it is an emotion. Healing is not required of the anger. Healing is required of the thing which is causing it. I'll repeat that sentence, that healing is not required of any of the emotional responses. You need to understand that all of the emotional responses are nothing but effects. Healing is required of the cause. So for us to resolve anything, we need to first understand the cause of it. Understanding your anger, where it is coming from, what it is made up of, what does it consist of, what are the emotions which come up. Are you feeling irritated? Are you feeling frustrated? Are there certain words, certain tonality, certain behavior, certain activities, certain situations? What are those things which are causing you the anger? So define your anger, understand your anger, right? Go deeper into it. I'll say that rather than getting into any of these responses of internalizing your anger or externalizing your anger, find a middle ground, which is what? Sitting with your anger, understanding your anger properly, neither internalizing it and saying it, I'm not gonna look at it, I'm gonna become an ostrich, my anger does not exist, I'm such a good boy, I'm such a good girl, I don't get angry, I'm always calm and I'm always peaceful and I'm always in the fairyland. Don't do that. You're angry? Accept that I'm angry. Anger is there, anger is present, because it is present, right? It's right there in front of you. You can feel it in your body. It's literally there in your body. We talked about the symptoms of anxiety yesterday. All of the symptoms apply here as well, because anger comes with anxiety. It's not devoid of it. There will be some kind of different intensities of anxiety present with anger. So all of those symptoms are available in yesterday's video if you guys wish to watch it. So फर्स्ट थिंग इंटरनलाइज नहीं करना है, सेकेंड थिंग एक्सटर्नलाइज भी नहीं करना है, बिकॉज एक्सटर्नलाइजिंग ऑल्सो इज नॉट गोना solve the issue. In the middle, what is the thing which lies in the middle? So in the middle you find a place where you can communicate, where you can actually convey your anger in a more constructive way, in the way where you're able to express to the other person or to the people involved how you feel. What are your expectations? What are the things that you want? What are the things which are required for you to again feel safe in this situation? What are the needs for you which are unmet in this situation? What are the things which are causing you pain at this point of time? What are the things which are causing you hurt at this point of time? And how do you wish to, all of these things to be seen by the other person who's there with you in this situation? So acknowledging your anger, defining your anger rather than resisting it, and learning ways to constructively communicate your anger are like must in this situation. Now in the middle there is a step comes which is about understanding the things about the cause of what is the cause of this anger. So you can ask yourself these questions, that what are the things that I want? What are my expectations in this situation? Are my expectations realistic or are my expectations completely unrealistic? Is the other person there in front of me capable enough to meet my need or not? If the other person is capable enough to meet your need, how can I express my need to this person constructively? If they are not capable enough to meet your need, then you need to see that who is this person? Why is it important for you to be with this person? It is a possibility that it could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be your siblings, maybe your spouse with whom you cannot actually end up the relationship so quickly, or just set a boundary, so just like that, or just take yourself out of the situation. None of these things can be done. However, certain things can be communicated, certain things can be clearly said to them as they are, as it is for you. So from your anger, moving to the space of vulnerability, moving to the space of authenticity, moving to the space of expression of what is it that you truly want. And of course it is very important for us to be judge for ourselves that whether those expectations are realistic, unrealistic, and then also go deeper into it and see if they are unrealistic expectations, why do I have it? Do I still need to keep it? Is it fair for me to keep such conditions in the relationship? What is it gonna cost me? If your expectations are realistic, still see if the other person is not capable enough, does not have the intention enough to fulfill your need, to meet your want, then you need to see for yourself that how can you meet that need or want for yourself consciously. And what is the cost of not meeting it? So even if, let's suppose, you come to a decision point where you cannot let go of the relationship, you cannot, there's no way for you to meet the need as or the want on your own or through any other source, then what is it costing you? Is it important enough for you? And when you have made that decision, own that decision, take responsibility for that decision. Be at par with that decision, that this is my decision and I own it. So basically the entire exercise is about coming from the space of disempowerment, because anger is an emotion of coping up with the disempowerment. It is not an emotion which is out of disempowerment. So you need to figure out for yourself that how can you take a way where you can move from the space of disempowerment to empowerment. What are the ways for you to truly feel empowered at this point of time? And that's how you can deal with concurrent form of emotions, the ongoing form of anger, the ongoing form of anger, and slowly learn to balance it out this way, process it out this way, express it out this way, right? Now, in the long run, it's very important. Sure, Varun, I'll come back to that question. In the long run, it's very important that you heal the cause of the anger. If you truly want to let go of the anger and come to a space where you feel secure, where you feel empowered, where you feel able to take ownership and responsibility of your life and what comes along with it, so make sure that you change the cause, you work at the cause, and you heal causes. Is it guilt? Is it shame? Is it worry? Is it something in your life that has gone wrong? Is it something that is bugging you too much? Whatever are the deeper causes, in the long run it's important that you deal with these things, because otherwise the anger will keep coming up. By just managing, they won't go away. So regulating yourself is important. Constructively, consciously regulating yourself is important. However, at the same point of time, work on resolving the issues at the root level. Apart from that, all of the things that we talked about yesterday, about bringing changes in your lifestyle, practicing mindfulness, processing your emotions, being with your body. Every time you feel a dense emotion, every time you feel something like anger, being with the body, how the body feels, rather than resisting it, running away from it, getting into it, go deeper into it. Process your emotions, feel your emotions, journal about them, talk to somebody whom you trust about them. It's important that you start paying attention to all of these things, because energy flows where attention goes. So once you start bringing your attention to all of these things, start bringing the lifestyle changes like we talked about yesterday, the food, exercise, sleep, and body movement, all of these things apply for this as well. Mindfulness, meditation, 15 minutes of relaxation, right? All of these things play a crucial role. However, while doing all of these things, go deeper and also resolve these issues. So That's what I can share about the emotion anger. Now there's a question from Varun: how do we deal with the other person if there's no change despite giving constructive feedback? Then you really need to be honest with yourself, Varun, that this person, if they don't have the intention or the willingness to change, if you have like genuinely communicated, given a constructive feedback, because this is not a conversational call, otherwise I would have asked you that what do you mean by a constructive feedback, because we don't know that. However, I'm just assuming that you mean what you're saying. So if you have genuinely been vulnerable, authentic, you have given the feedback, you have shared with the other person that these are the costs, these are the feelings that I feel, this is how this is hurting me, this is how this is impacting me, this is how this is causing me pain, and you have shared genuinely with them what is happening with you because of their behavior, and yet they don't have any intention to change, the simple answer is you really need to see, evaluate the relationship once again. And if it has not worked once, try communicating it to them once again. Try asking them more questions, that is how I feel, how this impacts me, is this not of importance to you? So asking some genuine but straightforward questions can actually help. So it's time for you to have an honest conversation with the other person about what is happening with you and why is it not important for them, right? So honest conversation, in-depth conversation, truthful conversation needs to happen. And if still there are no actions, because love is not just a noun, it's also a verb. If we truly care about people and we really say that we really see that we are causing them pain or hurt from our actions, then if we truly love them, we do something about it. This is just applicable on anybody. And if we are not capable enough, we also communicate that I'm not capable enough to do this, so let's figure out some ways to do something for you. So relationships, healthy relationships, are all about creating a win-win for each other. Maybe not right away, but the intention is to create a win-win, and people in secure, healthy relationships somehow figure out a way to come back together. So if that is not happening, it's very important for you to genuinely look into it. And I would recommend you to join any of our support groups, and you can share this issue in more detail, because that is a to and fro in the conversation. We'll be able to help you better, right? It's free of cost. You can just click on the website and join the support group and just post this question over there, so that we can have a back and forth conversation. Anybody here or anybody who will be listening to this audio later on, you can join any of our support groups for any kind of relationship challenges, personal life, professional life, or any kind of changes, challenges related to mental health, emotional health, physical mental disorders, or any kind of physical illnesses caused by, which is an extension of these things. So we'll see what we can do about those things. And there are e-learning journeys that we have. Make sure that you check them once. There are many e-courses available over there. There's a 4-level healing journey. We are also going to do a retreat in Pune and in Bangalore very soon. So that is the 4th level of the healing journey, and the first 3 levels are online. Apart from that, there are many things. There are many workshops, many programs that we run. And apart from any of these things, if you guys just need support related to any mental health, emotional well-being challenge, we are just there. You can just write to us and any of our coaches will respond to you. Great. I hope I could answer, my answer was of help to you, Varun. I would love to see you at the platform, and all of you guys, others, all of you who are here are welcome to join us. So thank you so much about joining for joining us in today's conversation, and have a great evening, guys. Take care. Bye bye.